Jackson Systems is your controls expert in the HVAC industry. With our top-notch technical support and customer service, we make life easier for you, the HVAC contractor. We offer free trainings on any products sold here at Jackson Systems, along with our filter fetch program, free thermostat imprinting, home and business automation with connected sensors, cameras, and even smart stats from Nest, Ecobee, Honeywell, White Rogers, Google, and more. Visit us at jacksonsystems.com to see the products that continue to win industry acclaim among contractors worldwide. Jackson Systems, controls done right.
A long time ago when I first started in the trade, I was just a young man. I was actually 14 years old, going to work with my father in the summertime. I remember insulating boots, putting flex on boots, dragging the boots under houses, because a lot of our stuff is in the crawl space, putting stuff up in the attic, adding plaster frames to the boots and putting them up. Remedial tasks. Things that I would repeat over and over again. It's hard to believe that that is in my lifetime still, because it seems like a million years ago. When I think back on the time period from 1994 all the way up to my business started, late 2000s. My business started in 2009. I started doing service a few years before that. But for most of my career up to that point, I was all install. Hell, I was thrown to the wolves a few times to fix something, but it was always a crapshoot whether or not I was going to be able to fix it because I didn't have the knowledge to fix it. I was never in trade school. I was always taught by myself. My father didn't do service, so it was on me to figure out how to do it. And I'm proud to say that I learned how to do it. I read books. I watched YouTube videos as well to get up on the best practices. After a while, I could figure that some of the videos were good and some of them were bad. You just have to discern that for yourself. But there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube. Hell, I put stuff on YouTube to this day, and I've been doing that for over 6 years. In fact, it'll be 7 years in a couple months. But I want to talk a little bit about twists and turns that life takes. I interviewed Jim Bergman a couple podcasts back. He talked about his mother. I had a similar situation with my wife. A lot of you know that. But at that point in my life, when the economy had its downturn, 2007 and 2008, a lot of things changed. And a lot of us took a beating for a lot of years, especially the business owners. If you're a business owner in that time period, it was a rough time. And just imagine that I started my business in that time period. So all throughout 2009, 2010, it was a struggle. My business did eventually take off to a certain degree, but it was a little bit too late. A lot of the material things in my life had been taken away at that point just because we never could get our footing in time. And the truth of it is, even after all these years, I never was a real businessman. I look out at guys like Greg Fox over there in California. I see what inroads he's made in his business. All those trucks, a new warehouse. I read something this morning that he was going to have a grand opening ceremony and a ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce. I never would even imagine doing that. It doesn't seem like it would be in my style at all. I'm more the style of a technician that has a business, not a businessman that has technicians. That's always been my style. And because of that, I'm handicapped to a certain degree because of my own personality. I was never going to grow a business. I was just going to make enough money to live and do what I love to do, which was working on machines. But as the years went by and my wife became sick, the beating continued. And I'm not saying this because I'm asking for sympathy. I'm saying this because this is what's going to mold me for the future. These are necessary events that occur that mold you into the person you become. We talked to Jim about his mother, and I asked him, would he still be in the same spot? He found HVAC as an outlet, and even made allusion to the fact that he might have just figured it out just now, that that was part of an outlet that he had when he was younger to get away from the stress he felt dealing with his mother's illness. I've had the same sort of stress. And although we can talk lighthearted here on the podcast, when you're in the middle of those moments, when you've seen what I've seen, or what Jim's seen, or what a lot of you have seen in different ways, in those moments, life can look very dark and bleak. But it turns you into a stronger person if you're able to persevere. Because one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to persevere, and you're going to use that to mold you into a better person, into a more driven person, or you're going to let it overcome you, and you're going to start blaming everybody around you for your problems. And that's what I went through. I started to blame everyone else. It was the world's fault. It was God's fault. It was other people's fault. It was everyone else's fault but mine. And I went through this for a long time. We're talking years, and I struggled through it. I'm glad to say that I found this podcasting outlet, and it's helped me a great deal. It's given me focus. It's given me a creative outlet that I once got through YouTube. And YouTube has been great. But YouTube definitely doesn't pay the bills. You can't be a professional YouTuber. I've heard that a lot lately. You can't be a professional YouTuber. And that's true, unless you're Justin Bieber or somebody like that, which I'm definitely not. I think I'm the opposite of that. YouTube gives you a few $100 a month to spend. But of course, it doesn't even pay for car payments. It doesn't pay for mortgages. It could barely pay the light bill. But podcasting is an outlet that you can use as a career. And I found that if you work hard enough, and I mean you have to work hard. Every morning I wake up and I work all day long. It may be on a podcast, maybe on a service call, but you better believe I'm working all day long into the evening. People will say it's not a real job. They will also say it's not a sustainable way of life. But this world is what you make of it. But I can't let people like that bother me. I can't let people like that get to me, because that is their end game. To trip you up, to trip me up. Everybody has people like this in their life. You have to ignore them and move on. That's the most difficult thing to do. It's easy to get wrapped up in brawling and fighting. It's hard to move on quietly and not say a word. It's hard to be goaded into fighting, only to walk on by and not say a word. It's one of the most difficult things to learn. It's part of growing up. Sometimes it takes a long time to grow up. I'm almost 40 years old. I faced these struggles in my 30s. I'll face more struggles when I get into my 40s. But I know that what I've done is the right thing. And I look back on all the times when I was down in the gutter, blaming everyone else for everything. And I know it's the wrong way to live, and it's not a happy way to live. So that's the thing we have going forward. We're going to push forward into the future. I hope this helps somebody out there that might be going through a situation of despair, because I know we all go through this stuff, and we're all human. So we're all going to be susceptible to feeling this way and having a destructive attitude at some points. What separates the successful from the unsuccessful is the people that choose to dwell on that destructive attitude. The successful will move on, use your bad experiences and your good experiences for fuel to mold you into a new person for the future. Mold you into a person that can better appreciate their family, better appreciate the job, what they choose to do. I'm not going to sit here in 5 years in a little closet next to a washing machine and a dryer. I'll be sitting in a studio, because that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm working towards, and I'm going to make it happen, because I'm going to spend every single day working to make it happen. You guys can say you knew me when. I may not be a superstar. I may not be a radio star. My name is Zach Ciota, and I am the Tradesman.
Sporlan, creating products that provide solutions so that your air conditioning and refrigeration needs are not only met, but exceeded. Offer the highest quality products, innovative solutions, and unparalleled support in the market.